What the fuck just happened? What?
Who? So we need to talk a minute before we choose the next cutscene in a second. If there's not more. I'm still on the screen. Is there more?
There's more.
Okay, I'm waiting because I'm still going to be a bit behind you still.
I'll be careful not to directly spoil you.
Yeah, no worries.
This is your butchery, isn't it?
Oh, the music though, oh.
After everything you've done in service to the throne, how could you betray us?
Holy.
My demand is simple. The dissolution of Zoraal and surrender of all its territories.
Luke Skywalker moment.
Refuse, and I will kill every last one of you.
Have you gone mad?
No, my ambition remains unchanged. To teach the masses the folly of war, that they cry out for peace, and thus unite the world.
What has changed you so much and in so short a time? To harm the very people you swore to serve. This is an unforgivable deed committed by my son. My son!
Unbelievable.
You have heard my ultimatum.
And you will have my answer. By my hands, I will end your madness.
Papa, wait! I should be the one to do this.
No. His sins are mine to bear.
Makes sense.
Fear not. Zoraal is strong. He has never been father's equal in combat.
I believed you long dead. To have the chance to kill you myself is an unforeseen blessing.
Not gonna lie, I want that glamour.
Forgive me.
That must be so difficult.
Despite his old age, the mighty Gulul Jaja remains a fearsome foe
I don't get it.
indeed. You retain the vitality of two souls, despite the passing of one. I shall even the odds.
Okay.
Papa?
Even the blessed are mortal.
Father!
You are no match for me.
Murderer. On my honor, as vow or resolve, I'll make you pay!
So the once faint-hearted girl would live up to her title. Very well. If only to demonstrate the disparity between us, I give you a chance to prove yourself.
Don't do it.
Rally the entirety of your strength. Lay siege to my kingdom. Strike me down, like I did, father. Then, will you be his worthy successor?
Zoraal, wait!
My warships will remain in your skies. When you fail to prove your worth, I shall order them to lay waste to Tuli Yolal.
Unbelievable.
Choose your next steps wisely.
I don't know if they're gonna be able to heal him. V, 20 minutes ago we were collecting wood. Now
Yes.
we have the Empire Strikes Back in FF14. What
The
hell?
right?
God, if you zoom in on him, he's got blood around his mouth and teeth. He is blinking though, so he's technically alive. Spoiler alert. He is blinking though.
Good luck to him, though.
Yeah. And his cut is pretty deep. Like, when I went through him, right?
It's not looking good.
I'm gonna actually talk. Oh my god, Kenton Ram, are you meditating? Oh my god, he's meditating. Let me read what he says. He says, 12 have mercy. Alice says, we did everything we could. Everything. But it simply wasn't enough. Kryl says, I can scarcely believe my eyes. Alpha No says, how could this happen? Koana says, Father No, this cannot be.
Is he really
Enronville
blinking?
says, yeah, go and check the dead body. Well, not dead body, but go and check the floor.
Yeah, he is
Enronville
moving.
just says,
Yeah.
dot, dot, dot. Yeah, he's breathing and moving, and he's blinking. But spoiler, I
Maybe
guess.
he has like final words or something. Maybe he's gonna be alive for as long as we stand here.
Yeah. All of the dead bodies around.
I'll read Vuklamat when you're ready.
Sure, you can read whenever you're ready. Do you want to say anything about the scene, or should we just let's finish this first?
Yeah, I would like to. Actually, this is a new quest. You're right. Yeah, I do want to talk about this. First of all, it is very. My first impression when we started with the cutscene was that it's very tech packed. And I was like, we've never seen this kind of tech in FF14, and it's such a bold step because at the end of the day, it's a fantasy game, and we've never seen things like actual electricity and things like that. Because normally, yes, even though this is probably magic and not electricity or technology or whatever, it's always been ether. It's always been, other forces, but not electricity itself. This looks very techy. I'm not gonna lie, I do love the colors. Like, I think that the purple and the orange on their armor and on their swords, it just looks so gorgeous. But they are fucking lethal. And what I don't understand is how he managed to amass such power and basically get this sort of, I don't want to say deal or a pact or whatever it is that happens. They did hint it, and I remember just before we stopped playing for a while, I remember that there was a hint that, he did get something, that, he was able to do something to kind of increase his odds or something like that, but I never expected this, and I am very curious to find out what it is that he did to, I want to say, indebt himself to the point that he's received this power, because nothing is free, and especially not this kind of army, because he didn't have it. And I think, as someone who's watched, let's say, Arcane, that this kind of power that you get by altering your own body, even World of Warcraft with like the story of Fel and whatnot, I think that there's no such thing as free lunch, and at the end of the day, it is something, whatever it is, it's doing something to him, something that it's not supposed to be doing. And as we watched the WoW movie recently, that scene with the father and the son, it really kind of did remind me of that Makara scene where you could, I don't want to give any spoilers, but where you could see the strength between someone who is natural versus someone who has some sort of
Augmented.
power, that they're not supposed to have. I am in shock.
Yeah, my first impressions was like we were collecting wood, and I thought we were just going to get on the train and then get to the next zone. I did not expect to see this purple, orby, whatever this thing was. It looked very Zodiac purple to me. And I was like, obviously I knew that the whole Zodiac thing had ended, but they were very reminiscent of that. I thought it was maybe some orb, and I thought maybe we'd go there, and it was either going to be a primal or a dungeon. That's what I thought. Nope. We end up seeing literally these stormtroopers from Star Wars coming down and obliterating all these innocent people. And I'm going to give you a huge credit in a minute to something as well. But seeing this very sci-fi on the ear, this circular thing that lights up red and blue, augmenting, I'm guessing, the strength or power of whatever. This to me rings very similar to me to I know you've not played it, V, but Horizon Zero Dawn, In Horizon Zero Dawn, like the character gets like a kind of like an earpiece, and it's kind of like an augmentation kind of thing. Very similar to that. I was very, very, very surprised to see it. I agree with you. We don't normally see this kind of tech. We don't normally see this kind of. Well, you don't really see any technology in this game, really, when it comes to that kind of thing. Like you say, it's either ether or something else, or maybe some sort of Sid contraption, or just straight up magic. But seeing technology in a way where we're seeing these like sci-fi ships coming down looked very Imperial-esque at times, but this is just different. This is very augmented, and I'm going to credit you for something that you might have forgotten that you said. I remember months ago when we did play one of the earlier parts of the story, you said that with Wuklamar, she does come across as quite immature and quite naive, and I still stand by that. But you said, and I remember vividly you saying that, classically in stories or narratively, it's always about someone who appears to be quite naive, weak, who has a loss and comes back feeling extra strong. Now is this Wuklam's turning point of becoming this stronger character now? Is she going to have a change of direction? Like Estinian kind of has this like kind of cold-hearted approach. Is she going to change, or is she just going to have revenge? Is she bloodthirsty now? Is she going to be reckless, like a loose cannon? I'm very intrigued by that, and I'm I'm wondering so much if you're right on that note. If you've just hit the nail on the head, because ironically now Wuklamar, like 2 or 3 videos back when you mentioned that, has now just had a loss. So is this the turning point, or is this something more? And moving forward, I do not know where else this is going to go. I'm dying to say something here. I'm going to be super careful, Gavi, because I know you want to play it, and I'll be very, very careful what I say. This purple sci-fi techie something reminds me of a particular, I'm going to call it stage in Kingdom Hearts. I think it was Kingdom Hearts 2. I can actually reference, I can say the name of what it is, and I don't think I'd give away much anyway, because it's a movie. So I don't know if I could say that or not, but for the sake of it, I won't. But it's almost like very reminiscent of that for me. It's almost like a vibe I'm getting as well by the way they're dressed up. They look almost very like a ninja-y, like with this like, armor on, and like the way that they're, the guy was fighting with a dual-handed spear, whatever you want to call it, a polearm, I guess, or a two-bladed spear. I'm really intrigued, and I have to just say one last thing. I know I've been talking for a while now, but from 90 to 95 of the MSQ, it's been this like slow build up, this world building, and then I thought, the Western area is starting to really ramp up a little bit more. Just felt a bit more engaging. The quest, aesthetically, the area and the zone was really nice. But then now, now it's Final Fantasy XIV, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think
I think it's really built up really well. I think I'm now starting to appreciate the world building, because it's been a slow pace and breaking you into the story. But now it's like, okay, well, now it's Final Fantasy XIV. Now shit's gone down. Where are we going to go from here? Sorry, go on, V. You were going to say something.
Yes, when it comes to their armor, I did mention it during the cutscene, and maybe we were in different parts of the cutscene when that happened. I'm not sure if you saw Squid Games, the show.
I haven't actually, so we need to watch that.
I'm not going to spoil it for you, but the one thing that I don't think is much of a spoiler is that there are certain people within their hierarchy that have these PlayStation basically symbols on their helms. So some people will have a square, some people will have a triangle, X and whatnot, circle. So when I saw these helms with a triangle, basically that was the first association for me, and how ruthless they were. I'm not gonna spoil you the show or to anyone who is watching this, but it was definitely a very, very reminiscent moment. And when it comes to Wuklamar in general, I didn't want, obviously, anything bad to happen to her. I wanted her to have a character growth, but I think that the character growth without at least a little bit of trauma or some sort of, life experience that scars you a little bit is inevitable. I didn't expect that a child will basically commit regicide in the, ex-regicide, if you want to call it, because he did kind of, relinquish the throne in favor of the other vows. But at the same time, it's a very difficult thing to go through, and we still, at the end of the day, don't exactly know if he's dead. As I'm standing here, he is still moving his head and blinking. So I think we should do another quest and find out what's happening to him, because maybe he has something to say to us before we move on.
I just want to add something really quick, though. You mentioned about someone's loss and how it's almost inevitable that someone can grow from this loss, and I actually agree. And not only from storytelling or from a narrative, but I think in real life as well. Because without going too deep or maybe offering a bit of depression conversation here, but when I lost my father in my life, obviously it was incredibly sad, but I also got incredibly stronger from it, and it kind of like was a 2.0 version of myself, and having that loss made me feel so much stronger, almost because of what I suppose I felt I had to be. And I feel like that's something that is very relatable to us people who are just sitting here playing games. And again, this is just Final Fantasy being relatable is one of the reasons why we love Final Fantasy, because in one way or another you take something away from it that is just so relatable to you. So
that's true.
Are you ready to talk, or did you want to add something to that?
I didn't want to say much. Honestly, I'm quite curious about the story. Without further ado, I do want to continue with the quest, because who knows what's going to happen. Maybe who knows? Maybe all of this is just wrong assumptions. Maybe he's going to be fine, and maybe I can just be naive here for just a second and say maybe everything turns out to be okay, because he is visibly moving. They would not add these subtle moving mechanics to his body if it wasn't evident that he is still alive. Maybe we technically kill him by doing this quest, but we'll see.
Because we've waited so long not to revive him.
He's just waiting to die at this point. It's like, please do the quest so that I can go.
I haven't read any of Welcome Matt's messages yet, so have you finished the quest yet?
I've finished, yes.
So she said, no, Papa, can't die. He can't. And then I'm handing in the quest now?
Yes.
And then the next quest is called No Time for Tears, yeah?
Yeah. Wuklamat is
you want to read this one,
process, what she has witnessed. How could this happen? That's the quest.
Yep. And cutscene.
Cutscene.
And I'm going to be delayed.
Enough. I am beyond saving.
Father, please. You can't give up.
Are you there, oh friend? I'm right here. I'm right here. Look after my children. What? I'm an old fossil like you. We've only got so many years left. But if that's what you want, it would be an honor. You and I must go on another journey together someday. Aye, you can count on it. Glamat. Kona.
Yes, Papa.
The graves of the Yokui. You saw them, yes? I always found their teachings comforting.
Please, Father, you must save their strength.
Our flesh may wither and die, but so long as we are remembered, we are never truly gone. Through you, my hopes survive. Through you, I live on. So do not mourn me. Walk tall and see our nation to a brighter future.
Tense.
Are you done with the cutscene?
Yeah, I'm done.
Well, I guess that was inevitable. But
Yeah, we figured that was so. I mean, his body's no longer here. I guess they've cleared it all up, look.
I have two things to say. One
Sure.
is that I think that this is the first time that I felt like FF14 was made, I don't want to say gruesome, but like I think the gore was for the first time. It was something that I've never felt in Final Fantasy XIV before. Sure, there was blood, there was, you know, this or that, but then like when he coughed and like a little bit of blood came out of his mouth, I felt like it was a step in a certain direction. And I feel like they're pushing this boundary of what's, you know, fantasy and what we imagine it looks like when someone is wounded or dying or whatever, and now they're actually giving us more blood and showing us these things. So I feel that there's a difference there. And I actually I think for the first time of ever doing this MSQ, it kind of made me tear up a little bit because of, for me, how relatable it was, as I too have lost someone in the family, and in a similar, well, not a similar fashion, but with a similar, I guess, attitude that he had when he was dying. That is pretty much how I feel about, you know, death and mourning, which is something that you already know, but, you know, others might not. Yeah. So when it comes to mourning, I believe in less mourning and more living according to, you know, the principles that celebrate someone who is gone. So him actually saying that, it was very relatable, and I can only imagine how stressful it was for you to watch this cutscene for a different reason, but still.
Yeah, I must admit, I can see they've upped their game of the gore. I don't think they've crossed any boundary of adding too much gore, because FF14 is a very immersive game, I think, especially for an MMO. Like, you know, for us two who've been playing the base WoW and playing a bit of Burning Crusade, you know, it's immersive in a very different way. This game is immersive for its absolute storytelling. I do think it's walking that fine line of, you know, this, like, the fine line that you said. But I think that adding this little bit of blood has added to just a fraction of extra more immersion. And I think that FF14 is or Final Fantasy really, but Final 14 is a really powerful game because of its relatability. And so I think when they're going all in with maybe a message or a theme that scene is going to represent, or expansion, they're going to go all in with it. And this one clearly has something to do with obviously Wukalamat's loss as well as Quana. But I think I'm not going to lie and say I really enjoyed it. Like, I didn't mind the extra bit of blood. I think it did add a bit more seriousness tone to the game, because I think it has been feeling a bit more light-hearted. There's been a lot more jazz music playing. There's been a lot more silly moments with Wukalamat and all this, her getting spat on in the face, and been a lot of comedical moments in the game. And I think that it's nice that the tone shifted a lot. And I think that for me, I preferred that gritty things, and I like that change of, okay, now we're getting serious now. Okay, the Star Troopers or whatever come down and slaughter in this town city. Wukalamat has had this loss now. Where are we going from here? And I find I'm just more intrigued now than I was before, where I think one of the zones, forgive me for not remembering the name of the zone, and forgive me for not knowing exactly what, but it was when we were, not the one with the alpacas, but the one after that, when we were doing quests for, was it like this float thing? And you remember what I mean now, V? Yeah. So we were going around, and it was very nice, and it was very, very nice world building in that regard. And I'm someone who now, having a few months to digest it, I actually now appreciate the world building. Yes, it can be slow the first time we go through, but I do think that we're rewarded heavily for the world building eventually. And I think already, now that we've explored most of these zones that we've needed to world build in, we're only going to reap the rewards now with a serious tone shift of it. And I'm honestly thrilled with the way it's going, and it's almost like I called it myself, because I felt that 90 to 95 of Dawntrail felt a little bit slow for my liking, and didn't quite feel FF14 to me. Now, from like literally from the 2 sessions we've had or whatever of recording, we are going home. Like, this is it. Right. This is it. We're now in 14. I'm genuinely really excited again. And it could be the fact that the story shifted, and it could have been my break. It could have been a combination of both. But man, have I really, really enjoyed every moment of being back. Like the music, the serious tone of the game shift. I'm really taking the time away. Something I've appreciated more than I thought I would, or more than I did before, is music. They've really chosen their musics well for certain scenes. And the whole, just the Dawntrail theme, the da da na 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 na, can be really cheerful, or they can add it into a song and make it really sad. And it's the same tune, just tone shifted, and it's so just beautiful.
Yeah, not a lot of songs can do that.
Yeah, no, like it's the same song. Like you have the combat that probably has this theme in there somewhere. You have the main title screen. You have the trailer, the cinematic trailer for the game. Then you have it for certain scenes, for sad moments. Genius idea, but man, does it make all the difference.
I think we're actually very fortunate. Sorry for interrupting you. I think we're very fortunate to have started after our break right at this time, because we could have taken a break anywhere else, and I think that somehow we chose the right moment to take a break and then come back, because all of these, like the break and playing other games and doing other things, I think it's made this experience a lot better. I like what we did.
Yeah, Yoshi P actually insists on that. Like he wants people to play other games. Okay, we took it right in the middle of the base of expansion. Not ideal, but we've come back and we've really appreciated it. There was something else I was going to say as well. Forgive me for not remembering. It'll come back to me in a few minutes, but I'm genuinely so excited now.
Me too.
I feel like I was going somewhere with saying about taking a break and coming back, but I can't remember. It'll come back to me, and I'll mention it in a few minutes. But yeah, I hope people are still enjoying this episode. We're still gonna be recording a bit longer.
Yeah.
We're excited to see what's gonna happen next. So when you're ready, V, we'll continue.
And I'm so sorry. I've been trying so hard not to sneeze. Like I sneezed like 3 times during a cutscene. I was trying not to do that at that time, and cutscene again. So